Hi, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever thought you wished you understood what your dog was trying to say? Do you wonder sometimes why their bark is different one time and the next time it sounds like something else? And the next time they bark with spaces in between and they change their pitch? Well, all that means something. Have you ever thought, why does my dog do such odd behaviors? Is my dog normal? We all know dogs communicate through growling, barking, and whimpers. But it's not all about the tail. They also use their body language and tail. They give us so many other clues. But no worries, you're not alone. Lots of dog owners are in the same place, even if they've owned a dog their entire lives. Every dog uses the same basic language to talk to one another, but they all have their own signature that's all their own, because they are individuals just like humans are. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand your furry friend way better than you thought you ever would. I wonder if you could pass this short 3-question quiz just before we get started. Let's look at this. Are both of these dogs happy to greet one another and begin to play? And what about this one? Is the black and white dog happy to be playing with the other dogs? And the last question, what is this dog saying? Remember your answers so that you can find out at the end of the video if you understand your dog as well as you think you do. Why do dogs howl? Dogs tend to howl at certain sounds, whether it is answering another dog, a certain tune, or a certain chord on a piano. Of course, the domesticated dog came from the wolf, and wolves howl to communicate a message to the pack. So that's part of it. And a howl can be heard quite a distance and signals where they are to other dogs. They do not howl because whatever they are hearing is disturbing them, or to show they are in pain, or that the sound is hurting their ears. Dogs enjoy howling to communicate much like we talk on a cell phone, to communicate to others far away. Why do dogs eat feces? Well, this is a mystery to me and has been a mystery for a long time. My previous dog, Gracie, a miniature schnauzer, would go out into our unfenced backyard in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains and eat deer and elk droppings. I was afraid she would come down with a dreaded disease, and I would immediately call her inside. When we moved, she began snacking on rabbit poop. I've always heard rabbits carry a multitude of diseases. I don't know if that's true or not. Kyiah even tried to eat a dead bird on a walk. The more gross it is, the better, if you ask a dog. And to make it even more disgusting, they may roll on smelly dead animal remains or something else just as disgusting to be able to brag to other dogs of what doggy prize they found. So why do dogs eat grass? I was always told as a kid they do this to get rid of an upset stomach. While that could be true, some dogs just like the taste of grass. Sometimes when a dog eats a large amount of grass, it makes them vomit, which makes them feel better if they aren't feeling well. However, you must be careful when you see your dog eating grass. If they eat a large amount of long blades of grass, it can ball up in their body and cause a bowel obstruction, which can be deadly. Another former dog I owned was a border collie. In Oregon, he would eat cheatgrass. I was unfamiliar with this term, but it is a grass that has sharp needle-like growth at the top in a V shape on the head of the blade. When eaten, it gets caught in their esophagus and often requires surgery to get it out. You'll know if your dog's eaten cheatgrass because they'll start coughing and wheezing. And of course, we all know not to let our dog eat grass that has just been fertilized or had any kind of chemical sprayed on it. Why do dogs chase their tails? To be honest, I've only witnessed one dog that I've owned that did that. And again, it was our border collie named Sully when he was between 1 and 2 years. Border collies are full of energy and do odd things anyway. Ours jumped up and down like a pogo stick. I think Sully did it because he had more energy than running circles around the house could burn. I'm still convinced that was the reason. Just like a good friend's dog, who's also part border collie, chases shadows. They say she's obsessed, maybe even obsessive-compulsive disorder, with chasing her shadow, your shadow. Actually, any shadow. Why do dogs turn in circles before they lie in their bed? Well, dogs who live outdoors often are seen doing this to make an indentation in the leaves or the grass to be more comfortable. This is also a behavior wild dogs are seen doing to scatter any snakes or mice under the leaves so that their bed is safe. Kyiah wants to sleep with us, and she has to scratch at the blankets to make it all rumpled and lumpy, and then she flops down in it, sighs deeply, and lays her head down and immediately falls asleep. I guess you could say it's the equivalent of why we want to straighten the sheets and cuddle in a blanket. A dog's tail tells a tale. It doesn't explain everything that a dog is trying to convey. We tend to think up and wagging is happy and down in between its legs is sad. But when you add the dog's body language together with the dog's tail, there's a completely different message. You have to put their head, their expression, and their body movements together to fully understand what your dog is saying. I bet you already know, if a dog has its tail tucked between its hind legs, it's fearful, scared, uncertain, possibly even sad. It could mean something else entirely. We have a sick dog at our house. It's not Kyiah, but it's my daughter's dog. I've seen her exhibit this same posture. She's very sick and on medication. May not make it another month or two. So if you see a dog that's normally around the family and happy and knows everybody and has no reason to be fearful, but they're displaying this same body language, take them to the veterinarian because there's a good chance something's wrong. And they may not even show it that dramatically. It might just be nothing more than a hunched over back. Why do they wag their tail anyway? Initially, a dog wags its tail out of instinct. It really doesn't even think about it. However, the tail wag quickly becomes a response to an outside stimuli manipulated by their thought process. If you haven't already seen one, I've put a diagram here that shows you the basic posture of dogs and what it means. When a dog holds his tail straight up and high, he's alert and confident. With a relaxed tail, the dog is calm. Down tail, with a slight movement, he's nervous and undecided about what is happening around him. Horizontal tail means the dog is alert to his surroundings, and it can mean a careful greeting for someone walking up to the dog. Horizontal tail with lots of movement means the dog is alert and nervous. extensive tail movements involving the hip, the dog is happy and having fun. If a dog moves his tail from the center and only to the right, that dog is positive and you can approach. However, if you see a dog who's wagging his tail from the center and predominantly to the left, that dog is feeling negative, and I would not approach that dog. Let's talk about dog sniffing. Dogs go around sniffing all the time, but what does it mean? And what does it tell them? First, they sniff as a way of investigating scents, to know who's been there, kind of get a grasp on their environment. And if you're watching with a trained eye, you can see that there is a lot going on when a dog is sniffing the ground. It's also a tool to communicate with other dogs. Here, Kyiah moves away and then sniffs the ground. And then she circles back again. This is a negotiation technique. Kyiah began to feel the interaction between her and the other dog was a little too intense for her. A dog might drop their head and begin sniffing as another dog is approaching. This gives them a chance to scope out the friendliness of the other dog. Third, why do dogs sniff each other's private areas? Always knew it was some kind of doggy greeting. We talked last week how very sensitive their sense of smell is, that it's 10,000 to 100,000 times stronger than our own. This is a dog way of greeting another dog, and it's equivalent to a handshake or a smile between humans. By smelling the other dog in this way, they understand if the other dog is a male or a female, if they're friendly, to know how old they are and what kind of mood they're in, and if the other dog is healthy or sick. They get a lot more out of a greeting than we do from a handshake. So in conclusion, does your dog understand you better than you understand him or her? Or do you feel you have a grasp on what your dog is saying? Most of the time, I do feel like I have a good grasp on what Kyiah is trying to say to me, like this one. Well, that was obvious, wasn't it? In the beginning of the video, I asked you 3 questions. The first one was, are both of these dogs happy to meet and ready to play? The fact that they're facing each other and their tails are both high is a good clue that yes, both dogs are happy. What about this one? Is the black and white dog happy to be playing with the other dogs? The answer to this question is no. You can see where her tail is. It's down. And you can also see she's turning her head away from the other dogs. She's nervous. She's getting scared. And she was running toward me to get me to pick her up. She didn't want to play with these dogs. They were too big and too rough. And the last question, what is this dog saying? If I had a wish at what she was saying, I hope she'd be saying this.
Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again next week.
We hope if you like this video, you will subscribe. If you're on a desktop or a laptop, just scroll down under the video and click the red button that says subscribe. After you do that, a bell notification will show, and you can click that to be notified every time there's a new video release on this channel. Now here are more videos we think you will enjoy coming right up.